Hello and welcome to Dice Masters United. I'm Spug.
I'm Ben.
I'm James.
And I'm Peter.
Coming up in this episode,
we are drafting the Superman Kryptonite Crisis set. Join us as we dig into the decisions and dilemmas of an online draft.
We're revisiting some of the cards from our Dark Phoenix expansion review, identifying those that need uplifting or downgrading in the light of rotation.
All that and more in the latest episode of Dice Masters United.
Okay, well, welcome back, everybody. It's really good to have you with us here at DM United for episode 63. Can you believe we've done this 62 times already? Like, you would have thought we'd be half decent at it by now, but sadly, no. Maybe in another 62 episodes we might have mastered it. But welcome back. It's good to have your company, and I'm sure you didn't hear it in any way, shape, or form in that opening segment because it was so smooth, but one or two of us are feeling a little under weather, not least Ben, who has got the cove. Ben, how are you feeling?
My corona. Yeah, not great, but you know, right. What are you gonna do?
So he's just got his finger hovering over the mute button for when he suddenly gets an attack of coughing. In the hope that we don't have to edit out loads of coughing and spluttering.
And wheezing.
Exactly.
Yeah, and snuffly and horrible. And I mean, my nasal capacity isn't like... Anyway, my nasal, like, recording voice is horrible anyway. I hate listening to myself, so this is going to be worse.
Everybody
sorry,
does.
Everyone.
I mean, they hate listening to themselves, not listening to you.
I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone hates listening to me anyway, but...
Fair enough. Well, it's good that you can be here. Obviously, we do this all virtually anyway, because we're all in different places. Well, Ben and I are obviously both in London, but for those of you who have joined us recently, Peter is in the Netherlands, James is in Slovakia, so we are kind of dispersed to the four winds, and never are able to do this in person, which is probably for the best at the moment because we'd be covered in Ben's germs if that was the case. But well, the other bit of exciting news from my point of view was my mat has been printed by somebody else, not just one person, but two. I can't believe it.
The Spider-Man gif has never been more appropriate.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. So if you have, we haven't talked about this for quite a long time because we went through a period. Was it during COVID or something when everybody was doing these lockdown projects? I can't remember. I'm not quite sure when I did mine, but obviously Peter's matte mastery design has kind of caused quite a few other people to get on board, and we set up a bit on our website where people were designing mats and putting them up, and I finally got around to doing mine, which took absolutely ages with the help of Peter. But then the other day, somebody in South Korea, and I apologize, I'm not able to read your name because it's written in, well, presumably Korean script, but there was a tournament in Korea, and my mat was the first prize, which I was like really chuffed about.
Finally, first prize. Finally one time.
Right, exactly. Recognition at last. And then Philip Hicks also said on the Facebook page, I have the same mat, which was like, wow, can't believe it. So I'm excited about that, even though probably nobody else cares in the slightest. But
no, it's a good feeling. I know it.
You know it well, Peter. Yes, because you've got so many. And of course, if you want to see any of Peter's very fine designs, or my one and only design, which is liked by at least two other people in the world, then we'll put a link to the page on our website that's got loads and loads of mats designed by Peter and a few other fine folk as well. But anyway, we're not supposed to be talking about mats now. We're supposed to be doing an online draft. So
can I just say, though, before you go on to it, some of the teams from that Korean tournament were pretty mental. They're pretty cool. So I've gone to very interesting, like Harley Quinn from the new set with Iron Man from Uncanny X-Men. lots of different stuff. So yeah, go check that out if you haven't on Dice Masters Unlimited on the Facebook page. Mary Shazam with her global heavy making stuff into villains and then using that villainness to get through for massive damage. Very cool.
Yeah, it was a pretty interesting format because you had to have 2 fist characters, 2 shields,
2 of each,
2 mask, 2 bolts, etc. Yeah. So
it was cool. Yeah, no, they sound like they have a lot of fun out in Korea. So good job, guys.
Yeah. No, it's good stuff. All right, well, shall we crack on with we've got a draft set up. We can do an online draft. Now, we did one ages and ages ago, didn't we? Back in the early days of the podcast, I think. We thought we'd try doing it with, what set did we do? I can't even remember. It was Infinity Gauntlet, wasn't it?
Yeah, ages and ages ago, 2 sets ago. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you'd have thought that wouldn't be that
2
long
years ago.
but it was a very long time. And we're using Trubie's virtual draft pack kind of generator. I can't remember what its proper name is, but where basically you can, it's found on the Dice Coalition site where they've got all the tools like the team builder, but there's also this lovely draft pack generator tool where you can do a live online draft. So if you can get any number of friends together online, you can do a draft, which is cool because not only is it fun, it's also free, which is, certainly pushing James's buttons. If nothing else.
But you can also, it's really good because you can set, because we set it obviously just to Kryptonite Crisis, but you can set it to a whole bunch of different crazy stuff if you want to. But, for our purposes, it's quite good because it means you can just play with that one set. You only have to get that one set out to play online after you've drafted. But you can do those crazy different stuff.
Yeah, totally. So we have got our Superman Kryptonite Crisis virtual packs open in front of us, and we're just going to kind of talk you through a little bit by little bit each one that we're going to pick. So who's going to go first? Peter.
All right. I have some pretty good rares in my pack. Yeah. I have the Superman rare.
Oh, yes. Nice.
But I also have the Bizarro rare.
Oh, wow.
Which is all the hype in drafts. On top of that, I can see that Bizarro has 6 dice in rotation. So I think I'm going to go for that.
Yeah.
One of the interesting things, I suppose, is the fact that Peter told us that.
Yeah.
makes me want to draft Bizarro.
I know. You have to pretend you don't
waste your slot on a Bizarro and leave something good for me. Go ahead. Be my guest. I'll have at least 2. So that's going to be that.
The Superman is the one. That's the one that gives 6 attack to someone.
Yeah, it kind of hurts letting that go, but I have to go with the hotness.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. Bizarro. Yeah. Okay, James.
I've got Harley Quinn super rare.
Oh,
wow.
Nice.
That is a good one.
It's the first card, and that's fine by me. That gives a buff to sidekicks, which is great for draft, and your sidekicks gain when fielded deal 2 damage to target character die. So field clear, built in. Nice.
Wow, that is very, very nice. Well, that's pretty easy, and obviously, ordinarily in this kind of thing, you wouldn't necessarily be picking a super rare first because it's not like you get to keep the actual card. When it's virtual
always
online.
Draft for rarity.
But yeah, exactly. Ben, what you got?
I mean, always draft for rarity. We drafted a rare, a super rare. I'm also probably going to draft. I do have a Bizarro, so there is that. But I don't know that. I'm ignoring the fact that I have a terrible Bizarro.
Yes, you've not got the rare, obviously.
Yeah, I definitely don't. No. I have the uncommon. If a Superman die takes damage, increase Bizarro's attack by the same amount, which is terrible.
Yes.
So I'm going to also go for a rare because we're drafting for rarity. I'm going to pick a top 2 worlds card, a Starro Mind Control rare, 4-cost shield villain. When fielded, send Starro to the use pile, take control of target opposing character die until end of turn. I can take control of those Bizarros, maybe.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah.
That's what I'm going with.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, well, I've got kind of no particularly great rares or uncommons and certainly no super rares, but I've got a really interesting mix of commons because I've got the Poison Ivy common, who's a 2-cost mask with the Energize Field of Plant token thing. There's the Supergirl common that has, when Supergirl is active, opposing psychic dice get +1A and +1D, but she's got bonker stats and only costs 3. So she's really cool. And then there's also the Starro common. If you roll Starro, who's a 3-cost shield, if you roll Starro at level 3, reroll him. But when he attacks, you may take control of up to 2 target psychics, which is also really cool. Really cool in draft. So it's actually really quite difficult to know which to pick because, kind of all of those are kind of interesting. But I think my natural inclination is normally to go for something cheap first up, and I can see this is the only Poison Ivy that we've got in the game, so I might go with that Poison Ivy. And do we have to pick a basic action as well?
Pass that Starro.
Normally, in a normal face-to-face draft, if I recall, you would draft the basic actions first in the opposite direction, but you can't do that in the draft pack generator. So
do I draft it? Are we drafting a basic action as well?
No, just a card.
No, I don't know which way they're headed.
So I'll just press confirm selection for the one card that I've selected.
I think so, yeah.
All right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it seems to work.
And then just we'll choose 2 out of the 3 basic actions we have at our disposal.
Yes, very nice. Well, I look like I've got your pack, Peter.
Ah, nice.
Because I've got the Superman. Yeah, I've got the Superman. Superman rare, who's a 4-cost shield. When Superman attacks, target character die has its A changed to 6 until the end of the turn. So I'm going to pick that. That's pretty easy. Ben.
I have similar stuff to what I just passed. The Doomsday common is kind of interesting to me. So at the beginning of the game, I choose a character die, and then whenever I feel Doomsday, I can KO that character die.
Oh, right, yeah.
There's good stats for a 4-cost on a 4-stack label. There's a cheap Monsieur Mella, which is kind of interesting.
Oh, you love your Mr. Monkey.
I do, but this is the worst one. I have a Barry Allen with the global, just the common. I have a Bizarro, so normally I wouldn't really think about taking that. This is the common one where you put a stun token on, but it is kind of tempting knowing that there's a rare Bizarro going around. But I can't remember. I don't know that.
You're not supposed to know that.
Yeah. Yes. So I don't know that, so I'll take the Doomsday, I think, probably. The Doomsday, so I choose a character. At the start of the game, choose something to KO with that.
You could choose Bizarro.
I could choose Bizarro, I suppose. He's the go-to, but probably maybe the Superman as well. He also has a 4-stack, which is useful.
Yeah.
So I'll choose that one.
Peter.
Well, I got handed an uncommon Bizarro.
So
I'm just gonna go all in on Bizarro here.
Okay, did we read what Bizarro actually does? I'm not sure if we told everybody what Bizarro does.
It says once per turn you may add a Bizarro die from this card to your bag. If you do, your opponent takes one of their unpurchased character dice and adds it to their used pile. And he has Overcrush. He is a 5-cost, but I won't be paying for him. Usually he is a max 1. But in draft, you can ignore that. So I can have 6 of them. And it's been ruled that you can only do it on your own turn during your main step.
Luckily, the winner of this draft buys everyone else.
Yes.
Lots of stuff.
A Secret Wars draft pack. Yeah, exactly. So you're just loading up on Bizarros. You got 4 of them dice already.
Yeah,
James, what are you thinking? Oh, sorry, go on, Karen. Carry on.
Yeah, no, I do have some cheaper characters as well that are fairly interesting. I got the Barry Allen with just the global. I got the OMAC. I got the Wonder Woman. So it's all pretty decent stats for cheap characters. The Mr. Minky. Got the uncommon Wally West, but I prefer the common.
James, over to you then, yeah?
Yeah, I'll take the Bizarro.
I figured that.
Yeah, the bad thing is I know that I'm passing mine. The hand I just passed also has a Bizarro in. So it's next turn as well.
I want something cheap, and I have to choose between Jimmy Olsen for 2, who's just 2, and he's got a rubbish ability, and Starro for 3, minions. Common Starro it is.
Yeah.
Sidekick stealing Starro.
All right. So that's the end of round 2. And we're on to round 3 already. Now, whose pack have I got here then? This is the thing. Someone was saying about... Oh, there's a lot of cheap stuff there.
Well, so I'm passing to Peter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Peter's
I'm
passing to me.
Yeah.
You're passing
So
to
I
James,
must
so
be
James
passing
must
to
be
James.
passing to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So, Peter, why don't you go first this time?
Yeah, well, I have a common Bizarro this time to complete my trifecta. And it's probably the best pick, because otherwise I would maybe get the 2-cost Lois Lane because she's cheap. But nah, I'm all in on Bizarro.
Flipping X. So you're going to have 6
Bizarros. And I will probably lose gloriously.
Oh no, I'm not sure. If you can basically by turn 6, you can have got all of those in your bag. It's like,
yeah, but I'm giving my opponent stuff too.
Yeah, but
well, I don't believe there are any rare Barry Allens going around, so that's a good thing.
No, there doesn't appear to be.
Yeah, I think you'll be fine, Peter, to be honest.
Yeah.
We shall see.
Yeah, we shall. I mean, I feel like we might already have a winner. But anyway, James.
I think I'll have a Batman for the global. It's already... I mean, I could get a cheap Harley Quinn, but I've already got a Harley Quinn, so I could get more dice, but she's a while active, so no. So I need some cheap characters. I could get a cheap Robin, but he doesn't do much of any use. So I might just have a Batman, which has got the fielding sidekicks global. You never know. I might get 2 masks with some sidekicks in my use pile. And he says, while you have 2 or more shields in your reserve pool, Batman gets +2 attack, +2 defense. That's all right. That could be all right in draft, I suppose.
Yeah.
The right moment. I'm going to have him, Batman.
Really good.
Uncommon.
Ben?
So, I suppose, again, I'm not meant to be thinking about the fact that there's a Bizarro going around.
No.
Although I am, because I have 2 choices here. So this is Spug's glorious first hand, which is just crazy good.
Yeah.
I have the common Supergirl 3-cost shield, who just has really good stats and a spin-up global.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good, but there's also this common Wally West, which is also a 3-cost fist, but the first one you purchase costs 1 less, so the first turn I could buy it for 2. And it just has fast, so if I can get a couple of those, I can at least defend against one of the Bizarro. So I think I'm going to go with that, because I have 2 4-costs so far. So the fact that Wally West costs 2 on the first turn is pretty tempting.
Good stuff. Well, the things that are interesting to me in the hand that I've got is there's loads of just 3 cost, but virtually everything is 3 cost, it seems, in this pack, which is kind of interesting. But there's the 2-cost rare Bat Signal. Roll a die from your bag. If Batman is active, roll an additional die from your bag. If Robin is active, prep a die from your bag. But I can see from the list that there's only 1 Robin and only 1 Batman. So if there was shed loads of those, then that could be interesting. But I'm not going to do that. But there is an uncommon Superman. And because I've got the rare Superman, I'm going to take that. So I've got more Superman dice up my sleeve. And we move to the next one. Ben, why don't you start this time around?
Lots of pressure. Okay, so a bunch of 2-costs. I don't have any 2-costs so far, so that's sort of where I'm at. I don't really have a win condition, but I have a bunch of removal with Star and Doomsday, and the Wally West, I suppose, is good stats. I don't think I'm probably going to get a win condition of any use here. There's a 2-cost Harley Quinn, which has a bit of removal when KO'd. There's no instant KO effects. That's an interesting one. The Barry Allen has a global, which is a prep global. Although, in draft, I'm tempted to pass the prep global because I think actually someone else is likely to take it and put on their team.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
The Robin 2-cost has an energize effect, which makes it 1 less to purchase, so that's more stats for cheap if I want it. Again, I'm not meant to be thinking about the fact that Bizarro is around. But actually, the Connor Kent with stun tokens is an interesting choice just because I get it for free and put Storm tokens on that Bizarro. Do I know Superman rares going around? Because that's pretty good as well. I think I might take the Harley because I think it's probably the best thing. And lets you remove. I'm just going to go for a bunch of removal, I think. And I'll take the Harley uncommon.
Sounds good.
I wanted that.
Yeah, and I'm hoping the Connor Kent would pass back round for the stun tokens at 6 cost. Is what I'd be hoping for.
Peter.
Yeah, it's time to start thinking about other stuff than Bizarro.
Now that you've already hoovered up all the dogs.
You took Bizarro. Yeah, that's disgusting.
I need some stuff to buy with all the energy I'll have left over from getting Bizarros for free. So I'm looking at 2 costs and 3 costs. So I have the Supergirl common, which is pretty good, but it's gonna be detrimental to the overcrush damage I'll be able to do. I got the Jimmy Olsen common for 2. It's not great, but it's cheap. I got the Jimmy Olsen rare for 3. Can block an additional character die. Could be good. I'm just gonna go crazy with the Supergirl. All the stats.
Oh yes, cheese a beef.
And spin up global for that Bizarro.
Yeah,
which is pretty
not
nice,
too bad.
James?
I think I'll go with the bat signal.
Oh yeah.
I'm tempted by the Wonder Woman 3-cost mask. Might be alright. She's got good defense stats, but since I do have Batman, bat signal is just a 2-cost, and I don't have a 2-cost yet. And it's got a global. Is Bizarro a villain?
No.
Nope.
Oh, bugger. Oh, well.
This is good guy Bizarro.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
So...
Okay, well, that's not that useful, but it could be a bit of ramp, and it's a cheap die, and it could be 2 shields for Batman's ability, although I'm not sure that's really a thing. But that's
on the bright side, Harley Quinn is also not a villain.
That is true. Starro is, which I've got, but I don't care.
Who cares?
Okay, well, I've got the kind of things that are interesting for me in this pack are a 3-cost Lex Luthor with range 2, who's quite interesting. He's the uncommon, but when Lex Luthor attacks your opponent, gains 1 life, which is a bit irritating. But range 2 is pretty nice. There's a very interesting General Zod, a 5-cost bolt, the uncommon. When fielded, General Zod copies the abilities of target shield character die until the end of turn. And what shield character have we been talking about in this particular episode? Well, Bizarro is a shield, right?
He is.
So that could be intriguing.
As a Supergirl.
And as is your Superman.
Yeah, exactly. But he's more expensive than that. And there's actually a 2-cost Lois Lane who says when Lois Lane is active, your Superman dice get +1A and +1D. So I am going to choose that because I like a bit of theming with my team. And we're back to the original packs, but minus all the interesting stuff that I had at the start. James, do you want to go first this round? Round 5.
Well, you've just talked about this pack, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yes, that would be that Zod, or I could try and get cheap mask. Not really interested in Lex Luthor much. Mr. Mine is hardly cheap mask, so is he? And he's rubbish if he comes up in his action on his character face. What does he do? When he deals combat damage to your opponent. Yeah. Right.
Some nonsense that some people thought was good for some reason.
I could just buy him for cheap masks because I don't have any other source of cheap masks, so I think I'll just do that. I could have the Zod, but whatever.
Nice idea.
Yeah, this is why I don't win drafts.
Ben?
So I guess I have my original hand and I have 2 obvious. So again, I have the Barry Allen Prep Global, which is I like, but like I said, I think I prefer other people to take it. I have 2 options probably for me. I have Doomsday and a Wally West, not the ones I have already. In less good ones. What's the better way of saying that? Inferior ones.
Yeah, the good word.
I think I may take a second Wally West because Wally West is cheap. has fast, and I think I might try and do a fasty thing. So I'll take a 3-cost Wally West. Uncommon, but mainly to use dice for my common Wally West.
Nice. Peter?
Yeah, I have a 2-cost Robin common, which is good because I need some cheap options as
No, you
well.
should pass that. It's terrible. Just pass it.
Yeah. The uncommon Bat Signal, which gives up to 3 of my characters range 1 or all of them if I get a double burst. That could be good. I have the Barry Allen common for 3. But and after a common Superman, but I would have to get 2 Supergirls out before I could field him. So it's probably not great. At that point, I should probably be winning. So I am going to go with the Robin because he's cheap.
He's going to cheap, yeah.
And he has decent stats.
Yeah. I mean, so I obviously got the original pack I had at the start as well, which got a couple of Jimmies, which is nice. But I think this time I'm going to choose the Supergirl because I know that I've seen a Supergirl and somebody else has taken it, and I don't particularly want somebody else to get lots.
How would you know that?
Well, because I saw. Well, because it was in this pack, and I passed it because I did, not because someone talked about it.
All right, so you're keeping track of all the cards. That's good. That's how you draft like a pro.
Yeah, you look on the rainbow. Look at the rainbow, guys.
I'm looking at the rainbow, exactly. Has everybody talked this turn? No, I think somebody hasn't. Who hasn't? No, everybody has.
I haven't gone. Yeah, it was James and me, then Pierre, then you. Yep.
Okay.
We're good.
Oh, we're good. Okay.
Down
Peter?
to last 7.
Go.
All right. Still some pretty decent, cheapish options, actually. I got the common Mr. Minky, the common Barry Allen, common Wonder Woman, common OMAC, and common Booster Gold.
Take the Barry Allen.
So Booster Gold is not going to be good because I saw that someone took a Wally West. I think stat-wise, I like Wonder Woman best. Let me just.
What is Wonder Woman going to do? Okay.
Cheaper feeling.
Come on.
She's going to block.
She's a good blocker.
You're not going to ever buy her or use her for any reason.
I could get Mr. Minky.
You get 6 dice for free, so it doesn't really bloody matter, does it?
No.
You don't have to spend any of your energy.
I don't have to purchase a die because using the rare Bizarro doesn't count as purchasing. So the Barry Allen Global is not good for me.
I know.
So I'm going to go with Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman it is. James?
I've got Jonathan Kent, and I might have the only reason for ever buying or ever choosing Jonathan Kent is to have his stats because he's got quite big stats.
You're not going to take the 6th. I was hoping that would come back round to me as the last pick. Come on.
Now, because if he's going to get free bloody Bizarros, I might as well get free.
In real life, come on.
You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know.
I know, but that would be definitely a card.
will.
I'd be like, I'll pick that up at the end of the
just in
draft
case.
because
Yeah,
everyone's going to pass it. Yeah.
I will take I have choice between 2-cost Jimmy Olsen, who doesn't do much anything, and 3-cost who can block an additional character, which seems like a good ability to have. So I'll go with that.
Cool.
Yeah, you can block 2 of my Bizarros.
Yeah.
Right.
Very good. Ben?
So, I have a Booster Gold here, who is pretty terrible, but he does remove stun tokens. I know that Jonathan Kent is still untaken, so I'm wondering Connor Kent, whether he's worth taking just to stop that stun token thing happening.
Yeah.
He's a 4-cost Booster Gold, which is pretty terrible. There's a Barry Allen, but again, I'm like, I'm going to pause it until someone else takes it.
Those are just going round and round, aren't they?
They are.
He's Barry.
At some point,
nobody wants to Barry.
People are going to take them and going to have to win it. I don't really have a way of winning yet. I do know there's a Superman and a Bizarro that got taken early.
How do you know that?
How do you know?
Because I looked at the rainbow, and obviously
No,
that's
no,
taking more than
'cause-
the first.
No, because you don't take the
First
dice right
openings.
away.
But there are okay, but I haven't seen Bizarro. I've seen all the packs now,
Hmm.
and I know when I know.
Yeah, you haven't seen Bizarro cycle round, so you know someone has the rare and is picking up the
and
dice.
everyone's taking all the other Bizarros for some reason.
Yeah.
fair
There
The
is a
only reason
general-
to get them is if you have a rare, because the others are not
There's
great.
General Zod here, who's a 5-cost uncommon bolt. When fielded, he copies the abilities of a shield character, so I'm probably going to take that because I think, as Spug mentioned earlier, he is useful if there is a Bizarro and a Superman. Superman probably better than Bizarro.
Yeah, indeed.
It's
Yeah.
still good, so I'm going to take him.
All right. Well, I've got my basic decision is whether I take another Superman, because the common Superman's here, which would take me up to 6 Superman dice, but I don't think I'll need that many because I won't be able to buy them all. So I think instead I'm going to take the uncommon Bat Signal 3-cost shield. Up to 3 of your character dice gain range 1. And if he rolls on a double burst, all of your character dice gain range 1. I can't speak, but
It's not the worst thing in the world.
which is not terrible. No.
Energize is so hard to line up.
Well, it's a double burst. That's only on the double burst. So
Okay.
Yeah.
it's sadly, but and now we're down to the last 6. So now I've got the yet another Barry Allen that nobody wants to take, with simply the global. There's a Doomsday with the force attack. A blank OMAC who's just really fairly mediocre stats. A green Kryptonite, deal 4 damage to target character die. And a booster gold. If no opposing character dice have fast, booster gold gains fast. That's going to be my pick. Who's up next? Ben.
I have several choices. I have a Jimmy Olsen 2-cost fist in this pack. He's pretty useless. Although he can't be targeted by opposing. So if I have a force attack global on my team, does that mean my opponent can't use my force attack global on the Jimmy Olsen?
Because he can't be targeted
By opposing global abilities.
Yeah,
Opposing is
Opposing means
who
used by your
they
opponent.
who's the
right?
controller. Yeah.
So that might be useful, I suppose. My other option, I suppose, is green Kryptonite, which spins 2 target character dice to level 1. Not the most interesting. I'd probably go. The reason I wasn't thinking about Jimmy Olsen is because a 2-cost fist, I already have the Wally West turn 1.
Yeah.
Am I going to be able to buy more of them? Maybe I should just go cheap and cheerful. Maybe hate drafting cheap dice is probably the way to go at this point. So I'll take Jimmy Olsen.
Jimmy Olsen it is. James?
Torn between Superman, Last Son, who's got a stupid restriction on it. It's only a 4-cost with decent stats, but you can't field him unless you control 2 or more super friend character dice, so stuff him. I've got enough sort of, I've got 1 2-cost, I've got some 3s, a 4 and a 5. I'm going to have Connor Kent at 6 because he's got the same stats without the dumbass restriction.
Nice one. And Peter?
Right, so there's still a common Barry Allen in my pack.
Of course.
Which is starting to become tempting, but I don't like his stats. There's a common Mr. Minky, which I prefer stat-wise, except for his level 3. There's a rare blue beetle still going around as 4-cost with fast, and you prevent damage from range dealt to blue beetle. So if someone has range, they won't be able to get rid of him. And I have the Robin, which might make Teen Titans cheaper, and Blue Beetle is a Teen Titan. So I think that could be a useful card, so I'm going to go with that.
That's the one. All right.
And he has fast, which will shut off the other thing, Booster Gold.
Oh, yeah. It would indeed. Yeah, it would indeed. Okay, we're down to the last few now. Let's rattle through these, shall we? Ben, what are you taking this time?
Nothing. I'm happy with that. No,
You're just going to quit.
I guess eventually I'm going to take Barry Allen because there is not much left in that I care about particularly. Raven, which is kind of interesting, but very convoluted for not much gain. So I think Barry Allen, at least I have the choice of putting in my team.
Nice one, James.
I've got a Bobby Omac. I'm surprised nobody's snapped that up. But,
The vanilla.
I think I'll go with
Omac and Omac.
yeah. I've got the Doomsday, the uncommon, which says when he would leave the field zone. I know it's pretty irrelevant because he costs 5, but you may instead re-roll him. If that die shows a level 1 character face, you may return it to the field zone. Does that counter Overcrush if he rolls back?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Oh, bloody hell.
No, because I think
I think we've had this discussion before, but on a
allocate
cursory
damage,
reading,
right?
It seems like it should.
No,
when Doomsday
because
would
you
leave
rolled
the
out.
field zone, you may instead re-roll him.
Yeah, but you don't
If
clear
that die
damage.
shows a level 1 character face, you may return it to the field zone.
Yeah, but you don't clear it. It's
But
like
return it
Zola.
implies that it left.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? That's kind of pointless.
Because with Overcrush, you kind of allocate damage. So you do the damage to that, and then the Overcrush damage is allocated.
Yeah, but the
idea
question is whether or not this prevents the KO.
Yeah, but the Arnim Zola didn't, right?
The idea that I'm going to
Yeah, I think a similar text.
6 marauding Bizarros with 1 Doomsday is not very realistic anyway, so I'll just have the Monsieur Mala.
I mean, nothing is going to help against Peter.
No.
Everything is futile.
Monsieur Mala for me, because he's got nice
okay.
stats.
Who hasn't spoken yet in this round? I can't remember.
Which round are we on?
I'm Peter. We have 5 cards
Peter.
left.
Peter.
All right. I have not so great options here, but I do have a Starfire, which is a Teen Titan.
Oh.
She's a 4 cost, and she has a range 2, which is always good. Fielding is trash, but might be useful. I'll take that.
Yeah. And I've got a choice really between taking another booster gold or taking a Monsieur Minky, and he's the one that says when there's a mask in your reserve pool, he gets +2. So it's an interesting choice. But I think I'm going to take him because he's a very good little Minky. And we're down to 4 to choose from. And I've got literally nothing that I want. No, exactly. We're just going through the motions really now and picking up something that either gives us extra dice or might impede our opponents in some way or another. I've literally got nothing that I want.
Well, okay, so I have an interesting choice around. I suppose we can skip through. If I have an interesting choice. I have the Doomsday uncommon, which I don't really care about, but I already have the common, and the Barry Allen. I believe they're the only Barry Allens and the only Doomsdays, right? Yeah, so there's only... Oh no, someone else might have a Barry Allen already. There's 3 Barry Allens in the draft, only 2 Doomsdays, which probably sways my vote. But basically, both have a global. The Doomsday has a force attack global. The Barry Allen has a prep global. I can deny that to other people. So the question is, what do I want to deny to other people?
That's true, yeah.
The fact that there's 3 Barry Allens means already someone else has them. The prep global, I'm probably going to put on my team anyway.
Yeah.
The force attack global, I think probably I want to choose the fact that then I'm the one who controls whether it's in the draft or not, and I'm the only person who has it, so I'm going to take that.
Nice.
That is interesting.
Yeah, okay. I'm just taking Jonathan Kent because he's a super character and all the others are terrible. I don't think he's going to get on my team. James?
Barry Allen for me, for the global.
Hey, he's gone at last. Peter?
Yeah, I have a common Raven, but that's not so great. But I might pick it for thematic reasons because she's a Teen Titan. But I am going to go with the common Superman, which I will not buy. But someone might have a rare Superman or something.
Very good.
And deny them the dice.
All right. Well, we should just tidy up. I don't think there's really any more interesting decisions to be made, are there? Probably, unless anybody.
I have a Barry Allen.
You've got a Barry Allen. Are you going to take it or not?
I'm going to take it.
You're going to take it.
Yeah, so passing that barrier actually was important because probably people are going to waste a slot on their team to put the barrier. So when I say waste a slot, I mean I'm going to put it on my team, so anyone else who brings it is effectively losing a slot compared to what they could have gained if I had taken multiple.
And I've got so many other good cards that I'd want.
Well, that's true, but it is a
Such a waste.
if you think about
You could have put
play,
a Mr. Minky there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it is. It does come down to Barry or Mr. Minky. That is true, but yeah.
But it does, but like in Villainous Pack, for example, if you're bringing the Villainous Pack global, if multiple people bring that, then it's redundant.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, with the base, yeah, sure. We don't. We can just choose the others randomly. We don't even.
Yeah,
need to go
I
through
think.
it.
Might take a
mention the basic actions.
Gold. I'll take a boost gold just because I know there's a Connor Kent with a stun tokens around.
Now, we're basically at the end. I think I'm just waiting for somebody to send me a card now for whatever's left.
I'll have a green kryptonite. I think.
I'll have a Lex Luthor with range 2.
Yeah. Oh, and someone sent me a General Zod. Okay.
And a Bobby Womack. Yay.
Yeah, I didn't think about taking that General Zod for 4 dice rather than 2, but.
Oh, I got 2 Bobby Womacks.
Ooh, Dark Side.
Lucky me.
More range. I have 3 range characters.
Oh, exciting. Yeah, but let's face it, you ain't going to be playing them.
Nah. Because I have to pay 1 extra to field him.
Well, everybody needs to save their teams.
Well, do you want to do the basic actions?
The basic actions. Yeah, we don't draft those, do we, though? We just pick them, I think, from that in this.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Do you want to talk about them?
Yeah, what have we got?
I have a terrible... I suppose I have good ones, but I have redundant ones. I suppose I have Daily Planet, which is draw 2 dice, prep up to 2 of them. And I also have Investigative Journalism, which is draw 4 dice, roll 3 of them, prep.
That's amazing.
It is good, but they both cancel each other out, kind of.
Yeah.
I also have Throwing Car, which gives something Overcrush, which I probably will take.
Yeah.
As I don't really have a win condition, so that can be my backup win condition.
Yeah.
I'll take the Investigative Journalism over Daily Planet, probably.
Yeah. That's good. James, what are you putting in your team?
I've got Righteous Charge, which is pants. I'm not interested in it. I've got Feedback, which is good, but it's horrible art, which puts me right off. But it's when an opposing character dies, KO'd, deal 1 damage to its controller. And I've got Psychics doing 2 damage to target character dice, so that seems like a good way of converting that into a bit of direct damage to the opponent. So I'll have that one. And the other one is Mind Control, so that's just got great Brian Boland art, and it's it's obviously pretty useful. Giving it to my opponent as well, but whatever. I don't care. So I'll have Mind Control and Feedback.
Peter?
Yeah, so I have Fortress of Solitude, which is not good for me because I will probably, I don't know. The +3 attack is good on my Bizarro. And if an opponent, the other option, if an opponent controls twice as many or more character dice as you, reroll 2 target character dice. Could be good, actually. I like the flexibility, and the +3 attack will work on my Bizarro very nicely. And then I have to decide between Man of Steel. 3 cost continues. Move this die to your use pile. Prevent up to 2 damage to target character die. And if you have an active, I can't see what that is, Superman character die, you gain 1 life. That is not something I want against my Bizarro. So we'll not be using that. And then I have Vulnerability. Choose an opposing character die if you damage target character die this turn, KO it, and prep a die from your bag. Probably not super useful, but I don't know. There might be something around which doesn't die from Bizarro, and I could still kill it.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Well, my 3 are Arctic Breath, which is a stun token, also a Fist Pump. Huge Smash, which is the Cake Global.
Noise.
Pay 1 once per turn, draw a die from your bag, return to your bag, or add it to your use pile. And Throwing Car is the other one. And I'm definitely going to take Huge Smash and Throwing Car because of giving Overcrush, and that works well with Superman, who can give +6 attack. 6 attack.
6 attack.
to
Not bad.
something else, which is, almost a combo. So there are our teams. You need to save them in the team builders, and then we can play off against each other to see who will come second to Peter. I mean, to see who to see who will fall at the feet of Peter's rampaging Bizarros. We will see, but that promises to be intriguing over the next couple of weeks. Let's get those games on, and we will let you know what happens.
We might even record them.
Oh, there's a thought,
Or at
James.
least some of
Yes,
them.
good stuff. All right, well, let's pledge to do that and feedback in the next episode. But let's move on to our next segment, shall we?
I only got one rare. That's pretty terrible, isn't it?
Yeah, it's almost as if you weren't drafting for rarity.
I know, rookie mistake.
Yeah,
I got two.
exactly. Well, the least said about that, the better. All right, let's move on. Okay, well, obviously, what seems like months ago now, we did reviews of the Dark Phoenix Saga expansion set where we went through each of the different rarities of the cards and we reviewed them at that point in the light of what the modern meta was at that stage, which obviously included a load of sets from the Battle for Ultramar, Justice, WWE, X-Men Forever, Trouble in Waterdeep, all those ones. But then the Superman Kryptonite Crisis set appeared, and then rotations suddenly culled everything before Infinity Gauntlet, so we were left with only 3 sets. And that has kind of changed, really, some of the usefulness of a number of those cards that we talked about then. So we thought we'd go back and just revisit a few from that particular set and just kind of say, well, actually, what's got better, what's got worse in the light of the current rotation. And we just got a few that we wanted to flag up. Peter, what do you want to start with? Something better or something worse?
Let's start with the good news.
Go on.
So one of the cards that was already pretty good, but with the introduction of the rare Barry Allen has gotten better is the common beasts. It's a 2 cost that has Overcrush, which is nice to add to a Barry Allen team because you can buy it for cheap and he'll get a huge attack bonus and then he'll have Overcrush, which is nice.
Yeah, we rated this as certainly not the best beast, didn't we, at the time? Because we were, I think...
Yeah, we were in love with
Very
it.
happy. We got confused. Well, I certainly got confused. Like, I got confused over the person from Infinity Gauntlet, the Captain Marvel. Was it Captain Marvel?
Oh, yeah.
The 6-cost one where when it attacks, you prep a die for every Avenger dice who's also attacking or something.
Oh, yeah.
I like that one. I like the attacks prep when you attack stuff, but it's pretty terrible, apparently.
I wouldn't say it's terrible, but it's not good enough.
Okay, we're talking about competitive. We go, yes, let's not be so competitive, but yes, not good enough for competitive. Where this Overcrushing Beast is good enough for competitive, apparently.
Yeah, well, it does pair up very well with the Barry Allen that pumps it and turns it into quite easily into a 6/6 character or something like that, without too much trouble at all with Overcrush, which is pretty decent. I mean, I think we liked the where's the rare, isn't it, that preps a die when he attacks?
Yeah.
And the uncommon was the one that does he prep a die for every other? Founder, that's the one, isn't it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which we didn't like quite so much, but it's certainly the case that this kind of card with just Overcrush has got a lot better than it was. So that's one that needs to be kind of bumped up the list. What else is on our little list of things that's got better, Ben?
Better, I'm going to do worse.
You're going to do worse. Okay, you go worse then.
I'm going to do worse.
You do that. You're all about the bad news, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah.
Screw rotation. It means the bloody Master Mold's good.
Master Mold. Yeah, that turned out pretty good.
Terrible. Terrible dice. Yeah. Anyway, Bishop.
Oh,
Yeah.
boo.
Oh.
I know, what a waste. So Clayface, the glorious days of Clayface. Where you can bring in a Silgar for 1-cost Silgar on double shields.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then buy Bishop very early. The rare Bishop, which if you only use energy from Bishop dice to purchase character die, prep that die instead of adding it to your use pile. So you could then use the Clayface die to Clayface in the rare Bishop Time Traveler, use that to buy a bunch of Silgars, which should immediately get prepped. You could immediately have a bunch of energy possibilities.
Yes. That
It
was...
was an interesting idea for about 2 seconds.
Yeah. No, it was.
Yeah.
It was. And people liked the idea of like, oh, I can do all these clever shenanigans.
I can
But
get
then-
a bunch of fish, yeah.
And then I end up with like six
Massive
dice that I
bag.
don't even want in my bag. Exactly. It takes me 75 turns to get the thing that I actually bought with it.
It was a really cool idea, the fact that you could then also like use that, yeah, it was just, I don't know, it had possibilities to get a really big die. People worked around that with the kind of Turbo Master Mold thing.
Yeah, no, I mean that's definitely true. I think the Mr. Sinister situation, I guess, has just taken over, hasn't it? In the sense of that seems to be the ramp that people are using now. So
Yeah.
and there's not much else in town, really, is there? So it sort of feels like that whole Bishop thing, which was fun and gave you a nice little start to the game, but it did flood your bag pretty quickly. James, what have you been looking at?
Oh, I'm going worse as well.
You're going go on.
That's the kind of vibe here, I think.
We got the Tiggers and the Eeyores on this podcast, and we know which of us are in.
Life. Don't talk to me about life. Yeah, all of the really expensive X-Men that would have been good if Hope hadn't been immediately rotated out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Including
Yeah.
Storm and Colossus as the really good ones, I guess. But also Cable, Rare, who I was quite excited about and has seen zero play that I've seen.
Yes, what's his text, James?
He says, when Cable attacks, double the printed attack of all your other character dice. He was obviated not only by the rotation of Hope, but also by the advent of Barry, who does the same thing, but much better, really.
Yes, that's
So,
right, yeah.
Bye-bye, Cable.
Yeah, that was sad. And actually, you can probably say the same for, Phoenix is another one, wasn't it? The Phoenix Rare that when she attacks, opposing characters with a 4 attack or less can't block.
Yeah.
Which we didn't rate particularly highly. I know Nick Wale did complain to us about that and couldn't understand why we didn't rate it so highly because of the Hope effect, really. And actually, that with Hope is good. I would now, Nick.
Yeah, you played that a
When
few
you're
times,
facing
haven't you?
master molds
Yes, exactly.
with a bunch of 5/5 tokens,
Yeah.
which
I
can
know.
still block.
Then it's not
Well,
so good.
I do wonder if it's a little bit like the 5-cost Rare Sabretooth as well, who was almost like a mini bard. You give your Brotherhood character dice +2 attack,
Oh, yeah.
and then has team watch ability where if you field another Brotherhood character, you can choose a character that can't block this turn.
Yeah.
So he also has just seen zero play because Barry Allen sort of does the same thing for 7.
Yeah.
Yep.
And 7 is not a particularly hard thing to get to.
No, funny enough, you can do it on turn 2, it turns out, without too much trouble. What else have we got that's got better or worse? Peter, give us something better, eh?
Well, we got the rare Deken. We thought it was good already, but
I thought it was really good.
we thought there might be some trouble keeping it in used. And as it turns out, the Mr. Sinister Global makes it pretty easy to keep something in use because you're fielding all your sidekicks and prepping them. So, it was better than I thought it was.
What's the text?
While he's in your use pile, you can only take 7 damage on your opponent's turn at most.
Yeah, so it sort of prevents the sort of the one-shot kills that things like Barry Allen would.
I used it first.
Yeah.
You used it first, of course.
Ben used it before it was cool.
I did.
Yeah, and it turned out to be very effective. Dana, well, General Nemesis Dana took it to US Nationals, didn't he? And took home the prize, and then suddenly the next day, just about everybody else was playing it as well. If there was a store that was selling rare Dickens, I'm sure they would have done pretty good business in Memphis.
I'll give you a card that didn't get better, but us as people got better for its lack of goodness.
What's that?
The Gladiator Global.
Oh, why?
Because that global sucks. I mean, it got better because no one had.
Tell us what it is first.
The Gladiator Global is pay a fist. When you attack, your character dice cannot be the target of action dice or global abilities.
Yes.
So it negates static field.
Yeah.
Or distraction.
Or whatever.
It got worse because there was no static field or distraction.
Yeah.
So actually, did we get better as people, or did just the game forget to give us a really important global that we need to use?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it will no doubt
come back round.
Yeah, because we do know for sure that,
and anyone who uses it is a terrible person.
Yeah, the pay a mask, remove attacking character die from the attack, or whatever it is. Attacking character die is no longer attacking, is coming back in Secret Wars, isn't it? So we have that to look forward to, which means, yes, no doubt, there will be the Gladiator Global back again. I'm going to suggest something that has got worse, which is Lalandra. The is it the rare? Isn't it the
super rare?
The super rare,
Jinzo.
Yeah. The Jinzo light, or not even light, the cheaper Jinzo,
baby Jinzo,
yeah, but with the same horrible effect. So she was basically while she's active, she was a 5-cost shield, but while she's active, your opponent has to pay 2 life if they use a global or an action die, which is the kind of a reprint of the Jinzo from the old Yu-Gi-Oh set, from the very early days of the game, except one cheaper than Jinzo was because he was 6. But this is just Lalandra has obviously fell foul of not being able to stay in the field, which I think we did fear would be the case with all the kind of Danny Moonstars rolling things out and Becky's and Spider.
Yeah, we haven't really thought about the force attack element.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Turns out to be much more force attack. Deken super rare as well on the same sort of zombie mags reprint.
Yes, James
falls foul of the same thing. It blanks characters which are 3 or less purchase cost.
Yes,
but it also allows you to fill them for free. But I've not seen that played either.
No, which is so. I mean, again, we should probably mention that we're talking about very high level competitive play. Because our last podcast we talked about how we weren't going to do that anymore. But we are talking about that anyway.
That was a one-time thing.
We didn't
One of the things that I was but on the flip side of the Jean Grey, Lander thing was the Jean Grey, which is like Pip the Troll, where it increases the. So instead of increasing the amount you have to pay life-wise, it increases the amount you have to pay energy-wise. So while Jean Grey is active, this is the rare. You have to pay 1 extra energy to use a global ability.
Yeah.
I'm surprised we didn't see more of that, because the downside of Jean Grey is her fielding cost, right?
Horrific, yeah.
But she has a free to field ability, but also you have the Robin Global, which makes it free to field as well.
Yeah.
And the energy tax on that makes it worthwhile if what they're doing to get rid of it is force attack.
Yeah,
because then they're paying. Yeah, and then they're also taking the extra damage from it. Because Pip the Troll doesn't do enough damage, so I'm surprised we didn't see more Jean Greys in that world.
Yeah,
there was at least one, wasn't there? I think Ian Porter. Maybe I keep mentioning Ian Porter. Well done, Ian Porter.
Yeah, I think that was a good, smart choice, because Pip the Troll I can see, because you force attack it, you pay the extra energy and then let it through, and then it deals 1 or 2 damage. the Jean Grey can do upwards of six damage to you, which is a big chunk, as well as spending the 2 energy to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Speaking of that team, which had on it Anti-Monitor, which has made... I mean, we did say the Deathbird Uncommon was pretty good, but I think Anti-Monitor makes it a bit better, if I'm going to be positive for a minute.
True.
While Deathbird is active when
Go
you
on,
KO
James.
an opposing character die with 3 defense or greater, deal 3 damage to your opponent. It's not quite there, but, Master Mold provides lots of characters with 5 defense or greater, and which can't be rerolled with Anti-Monitor, but in a different situation. Anti-Monitor can... oh, no, he just KOs, doesn't he? So they can't.
Straight.
Corrected. Yeah. So, the combination of those 2 things make her even better than we thought she was.
Yeah, although it does lose the force block, which we had, which
that's true.
makes it worse. So,
I feel another card that's got worse and hasn't really seen very much play because it is in itself very, very strong is the Rare Storm.
much worse. I think that's a big one.
Yeah.
She's a 7 cost, but she has got an amazing ability, which I've got the card in front of me, but I can't even read it because the text is so darn small.
Well, I'm playing my 2-team takedown team, so I can run through it if you want.
You can save me. Go on, please.
Well, so have several abilities. When you field it, you can reroll a character. When you attack with it, you can reroll 2 different characters.
Yeah.
If you reroll any characters in that situation to energy, you deal 2 damage, and they go to the energy you roll goes to use pile.
Yeah.
If you roll it on its double energy face and you energize it, you get to reroll a character. That does not deal damage, but still rolls the character out.
Yeah.
Into their reserve pool. So
lots
of re-rolling going on. With Hope, it's very strong.
Exactly. When Hope can copy it and then do it.
But without it, it's a 7 cost, and you don't get as much damage output as...
It's a 7 cost that doesn't win you the game.
Yes. Yeah.
Exactly.
Is it pretty much fair to say that through a combination of the rise of Master Mold and Force Attack and the rotation of Hope and the advent of other stuff in Superman Kryptonite Crisis, a ton of stuff from this set has got a lot worse.
Yeah.
And not that much has got better.
No.
True.
Yeah.
I'd argue outside of the Jean Grey, maybe. And then wherever Peter mentioned is the first one. Did you mention the first card?
Beast. Overcrushy Beast.
The Overcrush Beast, I think everything else got substantially worse.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you only really need to look at the teams that were successful in the World Championships. Virtually all of the top teams were Master Mold teams, which shows that...
I suppose you could argue that Sinister
got better.
Did he get better, or was he just got more...
No, he did, because we lost Becky, and we lost Danny, so sidekicks were no longer a liability.
That's true.
That's a good point.
So Master Mold and Rare Sinister, obviously, the stars.
And then you lost stuff like the Atlantis, which was competing with it for usefulness. They did the same thing, sort of. Although Atlantis,
specific energy requirements.
and then Atlantis was more useful as a dice, so people maybe sacrificed. Maybe.
Dark Phoenix Global as good as expected, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then even that lost some of its KO potential, right? With the loss of Grell and the Gazer, which did stuff with when KO'd. One of the things that got substantially worse, I suppose, over this current competitive season was the Uncommon Mystique.
Oh, right.
Which has, when it's active, reduced damage from opposing character abilities by 1. In the old meta, the Black Widow. So it's interesting because, in a way, it got better because it wasn't competing with the Black Widow promo, which did the same thing, effectively, with a secondary ability, which is better. But then lost usefulness because no one's dealing direct damage anymore. It's all combat damage.
Well, there's range. There is range.
That's true, but how many people are using that? And then if you're using that, are you not using the Rare Shazam, which deals 2 damage anyway, so you can ping off that Mystique pretty easily?
There was a lot of that rare Brainiac 5.
Brainiac 5.
Yeah, and you can force attack the Mystique.
There's a lot
and she'll only deal you 1 damage.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, that Brainiac 5 was a card that I thought might sneak onto teams as a way of dealing with the tokens a little bit.
Mm.
Yeah, the Shazam I think would probably been better. I would have loved to have been able to play Dana a couple more times in testing to try and remove tokens with that Shazam.
Oh, I tried, mate. It doesn't work. It really doesn't work because the two is you need 3 characters just to remove one token.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't divide enough. Yeah.
If it was range 3 or range 5.
Range 5. We need a range 5.
If it was range 5, it would be perfect. I mean, maybe the last one that we should mention is Colossus, of course, which again is suffering from the lack of hope, isn't it? But that rare Colossus, the 6 cost, while Colossus is active at the end of your turn, each of your level 2 or level 3 character dice deals your opponent 2 damage, which obviously is great if you get a bunch of characters, but it's hard to keep a field. It's hard to keep it in the field, and you haven't got a nice cheap character.
So good with hope as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
The big loss for this set was hope, right? Like.
Yeah.
Being able to double up on that.
We lost all hope, didn't
we?
That
hope was the best card in the set.
All hope is gone.
I mean, if you think about like that Colossus in particular, I just played it in 2-team takedown. So Laurier is running the hope with that Colossus. And you think about if you get the Colossus and hope out on level 2 or higher,
oof,
that's 8 damage.
Oof.
Just from those 2 dice. Each deal 4 damage.
It's beastly.
It's mad, yeah. Without it, you have the Colossus by itself, which deals 2 damage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Well, there's quite a lot of stuff that's changed, isn't it? Rotation changes stuff, it seems.
Which is hopeful because it means that the Secret Wars might change everything again.
I'm sure it will.
Yeah.
Distraction Global, baby.
That will, I mean, having a Distraction Global, I think, will change things a lot.
Yeah, except for Hawkman and bloody Gladiator.
Yeah. But that will mean that people will have to start including that in their teams if they've got...
True. That they lose a slot.
Yeah, for something. It's a... Yes, thank you, Ben, for remembering to sing it. I forgot, as usual. But yeah. Good stuff. Well, is there anything that we've forgotten there, missed out, or anything that you think has got particularly better? Are you a big Blink fan, for example, and you think we should have had a good chat about Blink? Then do get in touch using the contact details at the end of the show. Otherwise, we'll move on to the next segment. All right, well, we'll just round things up with a bit of AOB, and there's a few things going on in the tournament world. First and foremost, the 2-team takedown has started. I ended up not playing because I just got too stressed trying to build a team. It was horrific. I couldn't. I know. I just couldn't cope with it.
I wouldn't worry about it. It's trash format. Trash people. I hate it.
It's better than modern.
Yeah, so how did you get on in your first round? Any guesses?
I did super good. Yeah? I didn't forget anything about how to play the game at all. I didn't play against bloody the world champion.
Yeah, and it didn't go so well. But you can blame.
So just for the record, don't go on to DM North and watch Laurier beat me. Not that it happened, just in case you were wondering what happened. I won. You don't have to watch the video.
Obviously. Yeah, maybe you can blame early onset COVID or something.
What I said in the video, I was sick, so it must be true.
Good clouded your judgment.
I forgot Turk Barra had infiltrate. That's pretty
It's written on the card.
I know. The worst thing was I had it in my
other right
team
there.
as well. I know, yeah. It's not like I never played that card. I play that card all the time because I sold it off a team of Beat ad. Anyway, whatever. I mean, I won, just for the record, in case you don't watch the video. I won.
Yeah, it's just like you won the World Championship in 2019, as per the WizKids official system.
Trust the win system.
Yeah, exactly. Peter, you played your first round match. Did you orbital strike someone?
I did not, sadly, get around to it because the team was too efficient.
Flipping heck. That's not supposed to happen. You must have cheated the team building format if you made an official.
Yeah, probably no, because I was running Asuka with a bunch of cheap and very efficient mass characters, and they were so cheap and efficient that I won on turn 4 or 5 by just swinging for lethal before I even got a chance to purchase my orbital strike. But I hope to be able to orbital strike in future games.
Indeed, and we all do, because what more fun can there be had in Dice Masters than a nice orbital strike? Good stuff. Well, the 2-team takedown continues. In other tournament news, Dice Fight, James, I'm going to come to you on this.
I'm ready.
Poised and ready. What's coming up?
I am.
On
I'm
Dice
quite
Fight.
literally poised. October 20th is single affiliation D&D Monster.
Oh,
Monster.
Heading into Halloween territory.
So
well, Halloween actually was just gone probably when this comes out. Not the event, but the Dice Fight, which never mind. There's a whole month of Halloween on Dice Fight. That was the point. And single affiliation is the second of those events, and the third one on October the 27th is Jason Lucero's format, which is Necro War.
Oh, yeah.
Necro War, which introduces some new rules to the game. And there's an explanatory video, which I'll pop in the show notes.
Good stuff. Yeah, so that's Thursday nights, 9 p.m. UK time, 10 p.m. Central European time, and obviously earlier in the day if you're on the other side of the Atlantic. Otherwise, there's the people over at the Ministry of Dice are doing their annual Dice Masters versus Cancer event, which kind of grew out of Gaming versus Cancer, which has been an in-person event held in Southampton in the UK every year, raising funds for cancer research. But that event hasn't been held in person for the last couple of years because of COVID, but they're continuing to do an online version. And Chris and Andy at the Ministry of Dice are doing Dice Masters versus Cancer, which is going to be an online event this year, raising money for cancer research. And that's taking place on Saturday, the 19th of November, on the kind of evening if you're in Europe, earlier in the day if you're in the US, probably the middle of the night if you're in Australia or something like that. But they're doing a format that's...
What is the format?
Banning all the cards that were on teams that got to the top 8 of the World Championships.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of banned stuff.
So you can play Bard then?
No, because that made it to top 8.
Yeah,
actually.
Barry Allen is banned.
So I was making a joke about it. Okay, so it is golden.
It's modern. Sorry, it's modern.
Oh, no,
It's modern.
yeah,
It's modern.
yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah, modern constructed with all cards used in the top 8 World Championship team banned. So yeah, if you want a bit of info on that, then we'll put a link in the show notes. Otherwise, that I think is all that we've got time for in this particular episode. If you want to comment on anything that we've said in this episode or any other, we promise that we will read the email at least within 8 weeks of it arriving in the inbox. James, the address to use is
hello@dmunited.eu.
Indeed it is, and it would be lovely to hear from you. Otherwise, don't forget to rate, review and subscribe using your favorite podcast app, and then you can be the first to hear about a new episode when it drops. But that is it from us, and we will see you again next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Wingspan rules like Nova drools.
Bye-bye.